This is CTV News with Michelle Brunoro.
If we have any disaster or anything, any fires, and we're kind of stuck in town and can't get anywhere.
I think that should have been a long time ago. We've always been restricted to the one in, one out.
The push for another route. An island community says it's time to come up with a solution to keep residents safe also.
The goal of recovery is not to be a pariah. The goal of recovery is to become a contributing member of society. And this is a chance for us to work together.
A grassroots effort to build a new addictions recovery center. How the construction industry is coming together to make it happen. Plus, Adam finds the surprising connection between a dynamic mom and a fabulous mermaid later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Vancouver Island region is taking a bold step to push for an alternate route in and out of their community. The Alberni Valley Regional District has hired a lobbyist to forward the conversation on another paved route into the west coast of Vancouver Island. As CTV's Andy Garland explains, the move comes after two significant wildfires have either closed or impacted the key route to the region.
People in the Alberni Valley say it's time to start thinking about an alternative route.
If we have any disaster or anything, any fires, and we're kind of stuck in town and can't get anywhere.
I think that should have been a long time ago. We've always been restricted to the one in, one out.
The idea has been floated around for decades.
They should have started a long time ago, and I think, the province is very aware of it.
With two wildfires in the past 3 years, shutting down key road arteries to the west coast for weeks on end, some say the time is now.
It's become very apparent to the leadership at the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District that we do need to interface with the provincial government and anyone and everyone on the creation of an alternate route.
To engage with the province and start that conversation, the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District will be hiring a lobbyist,
helping us navigate the provincial government decision-making processes to allow for us to have the best chance at getting an alternative route put together and agreed upon and funded.
The Nitchalneth Tribal Council says 10 of the First Nations they oversee have been impacted by road closures over the last 3 years and are joining the chorus calling for action.
We have to do it in stages. Let's do it in stages over time. But we need to address it with the kind of climate change and forest fires and tsunamis and flooding. We have no time to waste.
The regional district adds the most viable option for a paved alternative is the U-boat route through Huayet and Dididat territory, which the province said recently it does not plan on taking ownership of and/or improving.
That doesn't mean it won't happen. Maybe not right away, but I would remind everyone that the improvement to the Bamfield Road took likely a decade or more of constant pressure.
Requests for proposal in hiring a lobbying firm are expected to happen in the near future. Andy Garland, CTV News, Port Alberni.
Two people have been fined $3,000 each in connection with the killing of a grizzly bear on Texada Island. And a warning, the images in this story may be disturbing. The bear was shot and killed in July of last year after it had been seen on the island. After an investigation by the BC Conservation Officer Service, Wild Act charges were laid against two Texada residents. Both pleaded guilty to failing to promptly report the wounding or killing of a grizzly, according to Conservation. Of their combined $6,000 fines, 2/3 will be directed to the Habitat Conservation Trust Fund. We have a wild encounter to show you tonight, demonstrating the beauty and power of nature, all because a seal didn't want to become a snack. We bring in Anna McMillan now to walk us through what happened in the waters off Vancouver Island.
After a day on the water near Ladysmith, the family was checking their crabbing traps when they spotted a pod of orcas in the distance.
We also noticed that there was a seal in the middle of the pod of orcas, and so we were actually feeling pretty sorry for the seal.
The whales disappeared, and a few moments later, this happened.
Yeah, he's going to use the boat as shelter.
The he in question is a seal who likely wasn't keen on the idea of becoming a meal.
Oh, hi, buddy. The seal's right here. He's trying to climb up.
Shauna Bradford was on the boat with her husband and their 6-year-old daughter. She says the seal and 3 orcas dove under and bumped against the boat for about 30 seconds, and then the seal decided it had had enough.
It was absolutely beautiful and absolutely terrifying.
This all happened on January 18th.
Every time we're on the water, we try and respect the land, respect the animals, respect the harvest as well. So in those moments, we're also, when we're trying to calm our daughter, is we're trying to let her know, like, Mother Nature is doing their thing and you can't interfere.
Bradford says she used this as an opportunity to teach her daughter that turning the boat's motor on to move away wasn't an option because it could have hurt the orcas.
I'm looking back at it as a very humbling, terrifying, beautiful experience that our family got to have while enjoying a regular day on the water that we always do.
She says the whale stuck around for about 10 minutes and the seal swam off soon after, leaving an impression Bradford says will last a lifetime.
Thanks for that, Anna. Well, job numbers came out today, and the province says despite what's going on in the world and the uncertainty around U.S. tariffs, BC added 3,500 jobs to the economy in January. The province says construction employment is booming in BC, up 13,000 year over year. BC's unemployment rate now sits at 6.1%, the third best in the country. The national average is 6.5%. We're also sitting second in Canada for pay, with the average wage climbing to $38.32 an hour, an increase of just over 2% compared to this time last year. And an update on a story we brought you last night on the new Loaves and Fishes warehouse in Nanaimo. Today, the federal government announcing a promised $5 million investment in the Nanaimo Food Bank. The new warehouse will allow the charity to partner with more donors, accept larger donations, and send more shipments to remote areas of Vancouver Island. A grassroots effort to build a new addictions recovery center has hit a milestone in getting the facility off the ground. After securing an old motorcycle gang clubhouse and hitting their fundraising goal, the group is ready for demolition. CTV's Brendan Strain explains.
How long did you battle addictions?
10 years. You know, I tried to quit on my own for a good 10 years. Which was not possible.
Aaron Orr is an electrician working in the trades. 2 years ago, he got himself into addictions treatment.
I did 2 months. I got out, and things didn't go well.
Aaron relapsed and found himself once again in a dark place. That is until he met some people with the Forge.
Well, I went back to treatment again, and this time when I got out, I had lots of support.
Now, he's 164 days sober. Today, he's been invited to break ground on what will become the Forge's new home.
I feel it's got a missing link. There's a critical gap in the recovery process.
It will be a place directed towards those in the skilled trades going through their recovery process, a field that sees significantly more instances of substance use and addiction compared to other fields of work.
This place will be somewhere where you can get recovery coaching, counseling, peer support,
or just a safe environment to hang out with others in recovery. Currently, it's an old biker clubhouse that is being torn down and rebuilt.
We're getting involved with it because it's the community we work in.
The budget is $500,000. Not much when it comes to building new these days. And that's where a number of companies in the construction industry has stepped in, such as Dur West Construction. It is doing the building's design work and organizing all the sub-trades, which are also donating their time and often supplies.
This really is a holistic way to look at recovery for the people within the construction industry.
The business community's been great out here, you know, supporting this.
The goal of recovery is not to be a pariah. The goal of recovery is to become a contributing member of society. And this is a chance for us to work together with people to do that.
The Forge is hoping to open its doors on what will be a place of ongoing recovery for those in the trades later this year. People like Aaron, who are now on the right path.
It's amazing. You'll be with people who have been through it and can give you a hand.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Langford.
After a record-setting 14 degrees yesterday, just 9 for a daytime high today. We're currently 6 degrees at the harbor, 7 at the airport. Should get back into double digits tomorrow, but there's also some rain in the forecast. In fact, a rainfall warning for parts of the island. All those details after the break.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
What makes makes West Shore Parks and Recreation a perfect place to play? It's our staff, working behind the scenes to keep the pool safe, kids engaged, and programs thriving. So apply today and join our team.
And Josh joins us now with a look at our weather. And I know we've had some gorgeous weather, but then a little cooler, a little bit of fog. I think you mentioned rain on the way.
Yeah, there's a rainfall warning for western parts of the island. Could see in excess of 100 millimeters of rain in a couple of areas. We'll show you that in a second. You mentioned the cooler temperatures as well. 9 degrees for a daytime high after a record-setting 14 yesterday. We're at 7 at the airport right now. And the fog is, for the most part, lifted. But take a look at how soupy it was in Esquimalt earlier today. This is Macaulay Point Park. Visibility significantly reduced thanks to those cooler temperatures and a little bit of an onshore flow coming in. So, yeah, it was, if you were hearing the foghorns earlier today, now you know why. Really, really soupy. A little bit of precipitation popped up on the backside of that. That started to move out some of that fog. Here's your next system coming in. That's mainly going to affect northern and western parts of the island. There's your rainfall warning for all the areas in red. Heaviest of the rain looks like it's going to be from around Tofino off to the north. Let's take you through to the end of the day tomorrow. And it looks like around Tofino, could see around 100 millimeters worth of rain. May even on the westerly slopes, some of these mountains, you might see some heavier amounts of rainfall. Port Alberni gets a good 20 to 30 millimeters worth of rain. Again, there is rain in the forecast for Victoria, but as is often the case with a lot of these systems that go through, the heaviest of the rain is going to kind of slide past Victoria. So there's tomorrow morning, coming down pretty steadily by the morning hours south of Tofino. It's overnight tonight, early in the day, that Tofino North gets the heaviest of the rainfall. Showers kicking around through the day in Victoria, and then some clearing on the way for Sunday, with the exception of northern parts of the island. So the whitest day through this weekend looks like it's going to be Saturday for most areas. A little different story in the north, where you get some rain tomorrow morning and then a break, and then a few more showers or periods of rain on Sunday. Windy as well for tomorrow. Gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour in the north. Gusts 50 to 60 kilometers per hour for inland areas, and some rain tomorrow, as we said, around Port Alberni, 20 to 30 millimeters potentially. A dry day there Sunday, but then rain in the forecast for Monday. Pretty steady rain, it looks like, and showers still in the forecast for Tuesday, Wednesday. Out of the west coast, heavy rain tonight and early in the day tomorrow. And then late Sunday and into Monday, another storm system blows in and produces some heavy, significant rain. But late Saturday, early Sunday, you should get a bit of a break. Most of the rain in Comox will be done by midday tomorrow or early afternoon. Gusty and 12 degrees in the afternoon, and then dry and sunny for most of the day Sunday. Sunday evening, you might see some showers. In Nanaimo, chance of some rain tomorrow morning, clearing in the afternoon with a high of 11. 9 degrees and partly cloudy on Sunday. And in Victoria, 6 tomorrow morning, 11 in the afternoon, mostly cloudy. Couple scattered showers, but drier and a little sunnier on Sunday with a high of 9. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations.
All right, thanks for that, Josh. Have a good weekend. Well, 2026 Olympic Games will have 2 opening ceremonies and 2 cauldrons. The first time the opening ceremony was a multi-site event spread across northern Italy. CTV's Scott Hurst has the details now on the celebration of sport, Team Canada, and the first events of the day.
More than 200 Canadian athletes are stepping onto the world stage. Led by flag bearers, Quebec's Michael Kingsbury and BC's Marielle Thompson, both athletes, previous Olympic champions, as Canada's team eyes more podium appearances. The opening ceremony is a stunning display of culture and sport, with the host nation always mixing in its own flavor, and Italy sure has a rich history to show off as Milano Cortina welcomes the world. And for the first time in Olympic history, the ceremony takes place across multiple venues in separate cities in a widespread yet unified event, with San Siro Olympic Stadium in Milan serving as the central hub.
They'll emphasize Italy, naturally. Music, dance, arts, they have a lot to work with.
Even before the pomp and ceremony to officially kick off 17 days of sport and spectacle, Canadian athletes have already begun making their mark. Quebec's Francis Jobin soaring into the big air final, He'll have a shot at the podium on Saturday in his Olympic debut. The husband and wife mixed doubles curling team of Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant are now 3-1, winning their first 3 matches before falling to the Americans. And Canadians sit 5th after day 1 of the Olympic figure skating team event. The competition kicks into high gear tomorrow with the first medals being awarded. And after the first match was postponed on Thursday, the Canadian women's hockey team will begin its pursuit of back-to-back Olympic gold medals. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Because athletes are spread throughout northern Italy, spending the next 17 days competing for gold, the distance makes these games not only unique but historic in their setup. CTV's Heather Butts is in Milan to explain how that works for athletes and spectators.
Meeting this crew from the Netherlands, already a highlight for Ontario's Marga Wilson during her Olympic experience.
Bucket list, definitely. To see all the different athletes from all the different countries is so exciting.
The Olympic motto, after all, is about celebrating the unifying power of sport.
I'm hoping Canada goes gold, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you met some Czech hockey player at the airport yesterday, so you did wish him luck, but secretly he said not too much luck.
A unique aspect of these games is how spread out the events are. Organizers wanted to use existing infrastructure as much as possible, but this means no central hub.
It's missing a little bit of snow, to be honest. Canada would be better to host them, but it's nice to be in the city. I feel like in the mountains it'll feel like more of the Winter Olympics here.
I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more like fan zones here, and I didn't quite see that, but maybe they're just spread out more through like Cortina and Livigno, so we'll see.
Competitions are taking place all over northern Italy, making this the most widespread Olympic sports setup in history. The games will span over 22,000 square kilometers. A trip between Milan and Cortina could take upwards of 6 hours. It means not all of Team Canada's athletes will be in the same village or region throughout the games.
You know, giving a high five to an athlete in another sport, or even the gentle smile when you're under such pressure, can make a huge difference.
Olympic champion and Canada's chef de mission Jennifer Heil admits it will be a different experience, but the team is turning to technology with video chats and highlight reels to help unite them.
I think there's a trade-off between, you know, the positive and the negative. I think for the Olympic movement, it's very positive that we're going to venues that already exist that make it more sustainable and easier to host.
The last time Italy hosted the Winter Games in Turin in 2006, medal ceremonies were held in the center of the city each day, creating a buzz, adding to the Olympic spirit. Because of the distance, this year, medal ceremonies will be held at the venues following the competitions. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
Coming up, driftwood design. Adam finds out the connections between a Victoria woman and a piece of driftwood dubbed fabulous. That's next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Adam finds out how a Victoria woman discovered her late mom was being honored in a fabulous way on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
While Adele Hatch can walk to the water now, she recalls being driven there as a child, thanks to her mom, Doreen, being the only woman on the street with a license.
Every other woman and the kids were stuck at home unless the husbands took them.
So Doreen would regularly squeeze Adele and her sisters, plus a few of her friends, into the back of her Beetle and embark on an adventure at the beach.
I will call her a force of nature, a fabulous force of nature.
During one of those beach days, Doreen discovered a remarkable piece of driftwood, strapped it on the Beetle, and drove it to her garden, where it sat on display for more than 30 years.
It was wonderful.
After Doreen died, Adele showcased the log in her yard for 2 decades, until she happened upon the work of driftwood artist Tanya Bob and offered it to her.
And I said, you'll do much more with it than I will ever do.
So Tanya gratefully accepted it, and like her previous work, expected to use it as a component in the construction of some sort of creature.
I would sort of look at the thing and I'm like, no, it's not a bear. And I'd be like, okay, come back 2 months later. I don't see a Sasquatch here.
It wasn't until a year later that Tanya finally saw it as kelp waving in the water, was inspired to start bending chicken wire into a shape she could perch on top of the stump, and eventually made a massive mermaid that she named the Fabulous Doreen.
and I can't believe it. I couldn't believe.
Adele couldn't believe two things. First, she'd never told Tanya about Doreen's passion.
My mother loved mermaids, absolutely loved them.
And second, Adele had never shown Tanya any photos of her mom, let alone this picture of Doreen perched on a wall with her arms stretched out in a strikingly similar pose.
I couldn't believe that was basically my mom in mermaid form.
And while it could be coincidence, and certainly serendipity, maybe, they say, it's something more magical.
I think she kind of inhabited that wood a little bit and was a little bit whispering in my ear.
But no matter the explanation, Tanya's donating proceeds of its sale to a charity in Doreen's name, and Adele is hoping whoever takes the mermaid home is inspired to be fabulous in the same way Doreen was.
Find something you enjoy and bring that joy to others as well.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
And that's it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourself.